life of Cyan, best bitch in the block. Back now, if I feel like I never left, I'm always better when I come back.
Cyan Boujee is both victim and villain.
So, I've been me. I've been a villain and a victim at the same time. Yes.
And a product of intersecting psychological forces. Her story reveals the dysfunctional relationship between the people watching her, hating on her, those who love her, and Cyan.
Because you're talking about you only fight with girls that got clout.
Yeah.
And then...
But I did beat her up though.
To love her requires navigating a maze of projected judgments, a task as complex as the lady herself.
She has the rugby body, so she's gonna smash you down.
If I actually beat someone up, I'm gonna own up to that shit. How am I beating a 49-year-old? So are you selling? I am not selling.
Don't judge. Lies. We judge. It's Cyan Boujee after all.
Love her or lose her, you can't ignore her. Hi, I'm Albertina, and I'm so excited to dissect the unseen mechanism behind Cyan Boujee polarizing persona. Thoughts? Comment them down below. I like to hear them. I'd just like to say my part on why it's hard to love Cyan Boujee.
So hi, sweetie.
It's ironic that Cyan Boujee's real name is Ona Zuma Zakn. Ona? Yeah, right. It's also funny that her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Zuma, are pastors. I mean, the joke right itself. Judith Harris's natural assumption theory argues that peers, not parents, shape personality and behavior. So despite the fact that Cyan grew up with a doting father and a prayerful mom, her ecosystem of friends and classmates molded the girls whose behavior was not so honorable. I'll retell a story that Cyan told that will put all this in context. Ona, Cyan, schooled in Pretoria in her definitive years. I mean, granted, because that's the ghetto she was born in. She said it, not me. But at grade 6, she was 11 years old, mind you, she got a crush. What had happened was, Ona didn't feel so beautiful as a girl. I mean, her mom cut her hair short all the time, and boys being boys like girls with longer hair also, she thought. So I guess she felt she couldn't stand a chance with her crush. So, girl, Ona takes a picture of herself, right? She's nude, mind you, and sends it to her crush. Did I say she was 11, like 11? Sure, but I conclude that she must have gotten this idea from the media, the culture around her. At the time, it was the 2010s era, the Kardashian era. So psychologists say that this is a social learning theory where we tend to copy the behaviors of our role models in a social setting. And this was the digital renaissance era, so it figures. Plus, her parents were quite strict on certain things, saying they were folks of the cloth. Nonetheless, the crush ratted her picture out to the whole class, and
this is the worst.
Ona was humiliated. Kids can be mean too. So I guess Ona, for her defense, had to grow a thick skin. I mean, this would pass, but what was coming ahead would be way worse. All this would shape her psyche, being moved classes by her favorite teacher, who considered her the worst child she has ever taught, in her class, of course. Ona loved the teacher, the same reason she loved being naughty, because it came with attention that she craved for from her peers. So when she got a boyfriend in high school, she was excited to be part of the in-group at last. Everyone else around her was dating, and she was no longer the oddball, the unlikable girl. She had a BF and she was loved. Finally, she was still the misinterpreted girl being accused of hooking up with her BF while she only shared kisses and hugs with him. Another false rumor about Cyan, another bullying. Ona felt she had to retaliate. I mean, hurt people, and her body was cool as a mean girl. Humans experience feelings of inferiority early in life, spurring them to compensate by striving for goals that affirm their sense of competence. Ona's personality was thus centered on how she navigated feelings of inadequacy in the social realm and cultural expectations with her peers. Of course, there are two sides to a story, and psychologically, humans tend to assign good traits to themselves and bad traits to external factors, a self-serving bias. So who knows if Cyan was part of the problem?
Now I'm used to it.
And of course, there must have been good moments while growing up, but you know, everyone loves the drama. Cyan Boujee's personality was shaped by both her social context and personal beliefs. On one hand, she believed in morality, rooted from her Christian background. On the other hand, her need to assert herself as Cyan Boujee, the baddie, the bougie girl, the object of men's lust and obsession and admiration. This could create some cognitive dissonance. She believed in one way of life, the moral way, the traditional woman way, but lived as a modern woman. Throw fame into that and it's fuel into the fire. It became a dose to cure her bruised self-esteem. Her 2019 YouTube debut thrust her into a world where influencer culture became her peer group. The aesthetics of being a beauty influencer as a teen was appealing to a girl who had something to prove and who's always wanted to be famous like the Kylies of her era. Boujee's trajectory exemplifies the Matthew effect. That is, her early YouTube success compounded her opportunities, amplifying her reach. The Matthew effect suggests great unfairness, that the fact that you're blessed with good looks means everything else comes easier to you as well.
Now, you see Cyan Boujee is getting gigs, understand nothing about production, never been in studio in her life, and she didn't cup anybody to go drink. And then she's getting all these gigs because of the bump and the just drink. Let me finish, please.
Cyan, a rising beauty and lifestyle influencer, had all the beauty makeup can give and the cosmetic altercations that she can do. What that meant was more followers and fans that confirmed that, hey, you're a sexy girl, a baddie. And she ate all that up. Especially as she said when her teachers hated the fact that she was IG famous. Imagine a celebrity in your school and she's a naughty child. It didn't matter. Her fans were supporting and celebrating her, and that support solidified her behavior patterns. It didn't matter her polarizing personality. She had faked it and made it. Before her dead sugar daddy though came into the picture, Cyan was a lover girl.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
She was a committed girl, committed to her public relationship, #couple goals, because she loved love. The drama from the fallout of Cyan's first public relationship was a viral moment, one of many. On one hand, it hurt. Being dragged, it must have felt so nauseating. But at least they went viral as two. On the other hand, she got more famous. A win is a win, right? Wrong. But this was a double-edged sword of going viral. You lose your relationship, you win more followers, you create another drama, and then the cycle continues. But before I dive into some of her controversies, let's take a time capsule to around 2020. Yeah, that sickly era. Story goes, Cyan, now a local celebrity in Pretoria, got to work for a brand with a Joburg influencer. A big deal, a good opportunity. It came time for payment and all the excuses came up. Delays this, approval that, Cyan was fed up and wanted to clock the influencer directly. So the influencer is like, girl, look, you want your pay? Yeah, Cyan answers. Then go to this hotel, meet this guy, and you get your pay. Wait, what? Cyan was confused. And then, so you mean I should just go to the hotel and get money just like that? Are you trying to get me, Mina, get you kidnapped? Come on, girl. You want your money or what? So Cyan went, and this guy was older than the 19-year-old that he was trying to flunk. But older men come with vast experience on women, themselves, the world. He had money, lots of it, and used it to love bomb Cyan into a controlling situation. In their first hookup, he gave her $20,000, equivalent to $1,091. If you're Kenya, that's 120K Kenyan shillings.
Stores are never nice to people. They're nice to credit cards. Okay, stop fidgeting. Get rid of your gum. I don't believe you did that.
Little did Cyan know this was her initiation to the influencer lifestyle. She got a car right after, an apartment in Joburg posh area, mid-transit. She got Gucci, Chanel, Christian Dior, drinking champagne, flaunting her jewelries. She had got the bag, and her value attached to her materialistic brands was up. Yeah, now she was a fully fledged lifestyle influencer at a big cost. Freedom. The man that gave her the world wanted control in exchange, and Cyan truly felt what Jesus meant by, what will it benefit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Cyan couldn't go anywhere. She had cameras on her all the time. To add to that, her bodyguard lived next door to her, and she didn't know. She couldn't invite her sister over, let alone her friends. She got everything, driven to the mall to get whatever. The man lived comfortably a double life, a family man, and in Cyan's ass on the side. R.I.P. to him, of course. Cyan felt suffocated. She choked and clawed away from the man. She let go of the luxury living. She even lied that she was homosexual just to get away, to make her own money. After all, if money meant control, then she wanted it. But here's the thing about being with a psychopath. You pick up on their narcissistic traits subconsciously, even if you hate the person. This will manifest later in her quote-unquote love relationships and the hookups.
A lot of people actually think this is like prostitution and this is like, no, but it's actually knowing your value, because it can happen that I'll go to a guy to get smashed and I'll come back home with so much, but they would come back hungry, desperate, having so much anger. And I feel like I have things to do. I have gas to pay. Honey, my wig.
Yes,
do you know
totally.
how much this is? You know? So I really want to always go with someone that understands that. That's why
That can maintain
that
you.
can maintain me, because the noise, they're probably doing all the noise because they don't know the experience, or they can't get to that level where they can demand certain things from men.
Insane to think that this woman, who is basically a glorified sex worker, just gets thrown in front of the camera to influence innocent girls and ladies to engage in this rubbish. Instead of shaming this behavior, we are following these people. These internet sex workers, that is. What are we hoping to get from following such people? Honestly speaking, when you make a decision to follow a glorified sex worker, what do you seek to get from the content that they will be serving you? The prostitutes who stand around corners don't have 800,000 followers, but those on Instagram get many people worshipping them as if they are different. The internet girl gets to act as if she's better than the one standing on the corner in the dark. Maybe our society is now made up of people that are not so smart. People who don't pause to consider who they allow to influence them. Lazy thinkers who consume all sorts of garbage.
The Cyan Boujee that I first met, online, was a controversial one.
So that is what happens when you fuck with me.
She had this messy, abusive, toxic drama with her boyfriend named Bamzi Breaches, I think, and it was ghetto.
Each time you lie on me, you said you want to go post something, you want money from me, you want a car, you want this. Is this how you treat me? You want to go and meet someone and fuck someone?
Just want to start off by saying this is some sensitive content, so viewer discretion is advised. This here, guys, is my ex-boyfriend.
Goes to show you can take a girl from ghetto, but not the ghetto from her. I believe through all these experiences, Cyan grew a dark personality triad. Her fans call her quote-unquote honest. Though she's so real, she's so honest. It's what you get when you meet her. Cyan always answers to the people bullying her, but Cyan's online fans have what psychologists call a culture of honor. This means that if you attack their reputation or brand, then dragging you to hell is considered a fair exchange. All is fair in love and war to them. Everyone else is wrong, and Cyan is justified in her bad behaviors. Cyan, on the other hand, if I was her therapist, would have diagnosed her with alexithymia. Because while Boujee shares personal struggles online, her highly produced content raises questions about alexithymia. Difficulty identifying emotions. Influencers often commodify vulnerability, packaging rawness into palatable and trendy narratives. Does Boujee's disclosure of past relationships reflect genuine introspection or strategic branding? Especially her breakup with Bamzi Breaches. Bamzi's side of the story goes that Cyan hooked up with him, then asked to be paid afterwards. Bamsi pays her 5K. She says it's little and she's worth more. That's not my worth. Pause. Cyan is equating her value, her cushy, her price to a specific amount of money. Got that? Bamsi continues saying that, in his opinion, Cyan was the abusive one, the one that threw a vase at him, blackmailed him to pay her 50K rand to upkeep his pregnancy because she couldn't work and had to maintain her lifestyle. She couldn't book DJ gigs or sleep her way to the next bag. Child, messy. So the women weren't wrong in calling her a 3 or 4. And I won't be wrong in calling her a male-centered pick-me and a bad friend. Her records show that she has fought with and even beaten up guys she called friend or cordial with. Not one, not two, she even fought her ex-manager.
Tell you guys that you know me by now. If I actually beat someone up, I'm gonna own up to that shit. How am I beating a 49-year-old?
I'd say to some extent at this point that Cyan was struggling with a personality disorder characterized by a lack of empathy, remorse, and guilt, often accompanied by manipulative and antisocial behaviors. Individuals with psychopathy struggle to understand or show the feelings of others, and they often lack genuine remorse or guilt for their actions. Put Cyan's former teacher who got her to move classes because she was naughty aside, or even Sima, who just joked with her friend and ended up being exposed to online harassment, Cyan has been rumored several times to have physically assaulted other girls, her peers or younger. Psychopathy is often associated with a pattern of antisocial behaviors, including violence. Could it be because of her various abusive relationships with romantic partners? Cyan's defense mechanism is to beat up others so she can feel a sense of control. It could. It could also be lack of emotional intelligence, especially when resolving conflict with peers. Cyan is akin to violence.
Guys, there has to be something wrong with Cyan Boujee, because why does she have to fight every time she has to pay for something? Like, I mean, for a person that bought a house cash, what is 6K ya Uber?
Subconsciously, she even attracts violent men because she's a violent woman. Despite their lack of empathy and remorse, psychopaths can be superficially charming and engaging, making it difficult to recognize their true nature. Because of the stressful environment of social media, I'll just give her a little pass while I say that she became the monster she feared, and she enjoyed it. She feeds off the hate, the drama, the controversy. For her brand, it means more eyes, more attention, more bookings, more money, more Gucci and looks lifestyle. She ain't a good role model. She doesn't want to be. She just wants to live her life being a baddie. And sadly, nothing can satisfy the emptiness she must feel from all the fallout she's been in. At some point, she'll look back and realize that she's burnt a lot of bridges, and it's kinda too late. Case in point, why I call her a pick-me and male-centered is from her fallout with her so-called former friend, Sima. Sima is a young essay TikTok sensational, and since her age mates and friends were social media personalities, it was only time before her and Cyan became close friends. Story goes.
What happened between you and Cyan Boujee? Oh, what happened was we were out and she's standing with this guy that I don't know. So I was like, and then, I was just like, and then? And she just looked at me and she's like, look, sorry about that. Anyway, and they carried on their conversation and I was like, okay, So I got on the car, she got on the car, and I tried to apologize for asking. And then, I tried to apologize and she was just like, no, I don't want to speak to you. And she's speaking to everyone else in the car except me. So I was just like, okay. And then I was like, okay, can I speak to you before you leave? Before you leave. And she's like, no, I don't want to talk to you, And yeah.
Cyan responds to Sima's interview about the situation. Mind you, Sima is, how do I say this? I don't want no smoke, so I'll just say nice things about the girl, kind of girl. Plus, she knows Cyan's behavior, right? Cyan responds attacking Sima's body, her bank account balance, calling her broke and fake, and wants her brother when she has a boyfriend, so she's a cheater. She even goes further to leak her cell phone number. With friends like this, who needs an enemy, really? Because of what? A man that you can't even have because he's your bro? Bruh, diabolical. Cyan commented in her confession story time that she became hot and men wanted her and girls were jealous, but she didn't care. The men that have wanted Cyan, to just put this into perspective, have been old men cheating on their spouses, political hookups, YN with no money, or who can't buy furniture but buys clothes and cars to flex, abusive men who have physically assaulted her. Who's jealous of such men? Only pygmies can think that dating such men is a flex. Add to her getting not one, but multiple BBLs to gain men's attentions and money, only to turn back and insult other people's body. No, insult her friend's body. Girl, you don't even like your body. What you mean? It's hard to love Cyan, personally. My implicit bias undermines Cyan's legitimacy to only attention seeking. I'm thinking her behaviors are only to get fame, which is true, but still biased. At this point, I don't care. Call me a hater. In the end, Boujee's greatest rebellion may be her refusal to be simplified to just being a 3 or 4, forcing us to confront the hard truth of why we find her so hard to embrace. It could be psychological, right-wing authoritarianism bias, RWA bias. That means our preference for traditional norms for Cyan to be a traditional woman, a housewife, as she has said she wants to be one day, a self-respecting woman like Sima told her she couldn't be, and all this fuels her disdain for conformity. Because we want her so bad to be a good girl, she wants so bad to prove that she's not. Cyan wants to have all the fun of being a baddie without the psychological effects of that culture on her or the people around her. She doesn't want to be the role model because that will mean having a standard, having principles. Nay, she wants to be worshipped, adored, because she's Cyan Boujee. She wants the drama while lying to her mom that the hate is only because of jealousy. She wants to flex on others, but she wants genuine friends who not only like her for her luxury apartment. She wants to be a lover girl while hooking up with men for money and bookings life to right and the president. She poses with all the feminine glory but beats up other women who confront her. Not a girl's girl at all. If I wasn't aware of psychology, I'd just have said this girl's crazy. She's delusional, she's diabolical, she's crazy. It's great that she has her family for moral support because, yikes, it's hard to love Cyan Boujee. I could go on and on, pull up every drama Cyan has been in, but that won't help her. I pray she gets therapy to address her personality disorders and moods. She believes controversy helps her, so she creates 1 or 6-1 because her brand thrives on turbulence, blurring the line between authenticity and performance. So I pray she finds her worth not on men or money or fame, but in God, in herself, in honor. You know, the girl honor. That's all. That's my piece. I pray that you're doing well. God bless you and talk later. Adios.